Hi, welcome to the Catholic League Report. Nick, we had a lot going on this week, so let's
hmm
just jump right into it. Um, yeah, what really stood out to you that we're working on this week?
Yeah, so we started off the week strong. Talked about the growing threat, as they call it, of Islamophobia, especially with the 9/11 coming up. You have Mamdani and all these Muslim politicians saying Islamophobia, crying Islamophobia, because of what they perceive it to be, which really isn't big of a threat. But then we compared that to what the many of the Catholic priests back during the scandal when it came out back in the 2000s, what they had to go through, and compared that with Islamophobia. It was really striking to see the difference.
Yeah, especially when it's like I can't say the guy's name, but that comedian Rapinoe's how you
Mm,
say it.
yeah.
He was on season 6 of Justified. That's where I know him
Mm,
from. Great, great season, but he said he had a really good take on Mamdani. You know, he's raising the taxes. You can't afford anything in New York.
mhm.
And all the Mamdani people come out of the woodwork. That's an example of Islamophobia. I
Right.
don't know. I would consider that a criticism of fiscal policy. I
Yeah,
think most
most
sane
people would.
people would
Yeah.
say, I don't really see like that's a bit of a stretch. But you say boo about any of these Muslim politicians, uh, for policy differences, that's Islamophobia. And if you're going out there and saying I don't like the guy because of his religion or his skin color, anything like that, no, that's wrong. But if you have a legitimate policy gripe, you should be able to say that. But the same people that are upset, like, oh, this is an example of Islamophobia, you criticize his tax policy, nothing to do with Islam at all in there, but that's the problem. These are the same people that Bill writes about. We'll have, you can see this all on our website, CatholicLeague.org. These people are, making the crude jokes about condemning all
Mhm,
priests, the comics, the writing their hit pieces, The View
mhm. The
worked
view.
up endlessly about Islamophobia, but contributed to prejudicial statements against Catholics, and that's beyond the pale. And
And
then Tuesday, right, we switched into a very interesting blend on the DSA, mixing Marxist ideas with anarchist ideas. You want to give us a little overview?
yeah, sure. Well, the DSA seems like it's running the Democratic Party these days, with Mamdani being the head of it. Um, they see themselves as kind of a working, kind of sees the means production, kind of what Marx said back in the 1800s. But I think it goes beyond that. I think it's more of anarchism combined with Marxism. You look at what some of the people have said. This Daria Chevalier, who's running for, I believe, state senate, endorsed by Mamdani, of course. She said that she's intrigued by anarchism, that she wants to open the prison, she wants to release all the criminals. They really want anarchy. It's not just seizing the means of production, allowing for unions and for workers' rights. That's what Marx said, but it's more than that. It's more anarchy. They want to destroy the system. They want to destroy America, burn it to the ground, and they really
Yeah.
don't care what happens.
Well, right at its core, communism, Marxism is just a bad idea, even on
Of
paper.
course,
Like it,
absolutely.
it just doesn't work. There's no way, to each according to their ability, from each according to their means, or well, whatever it is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a policy, a philosophical outlook that just doesn't work in the real world. And these people have sort of discovered that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't work. So what's left for them is just hatred. They hate the West. They hate Christianity. They hate Catholicism, and they just want to burn everything down. Right? Like, not necessarily to make that comparison, but there's a reason why in the Spanish Civil War, right? The communists, the anarchists, the Marxists, they were all on the same side, and one of their favorite targets was Catholic priests,
Mm-hmm.
Catholic nuns. They liked executing them. There's a reason why these guys are bedfellows, and it's because their ideas are bunk. They don't work. They realize they don't work, and so they just are hateful. And that's thinking back to Bill and I was it last week. We were talking about Hassan Piker and he's fueled by hate. It's not just Piker. It is the DSA more broadly. They realize their ideas don't work, and so as a result, they're going to get even. They're going to burn the system down. It's not like the champagne liberals
Mm-hmm.
that the limousine liberals are like, oh well, I'm fine with higher taxes. This is real hatred. Like, we're going to take from you, we're going to steal from you, we're going to burn everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And people really need to have their heads awake to this. Like, this is a very dangerous alliance.
It definitely is. And we followed up that with a piece on compassion. There was a piece by a reporter in the New Republic talking about MAGA Christians, how they're not compassionate, they don't care about the poor. You want to talk a little bit about that, Mike?
Yeah. So this is an interesting framework. Like Bill mentions in the piece, and again, you can see all this on our website, CatholicLeague.org. This guy, right, he was a Kennedy, Steve Kennedy, I think it was.
Yeah.
He's got this, he follows the Christian movement in America, the Great Awakening, the Second Great Awakening, and then he does a pretty decent job on that. But then he jumps into today, the Christian revival is completely antithetical to the Christian message. It hates poor people, it hates immigrants, it hates everybody. But no, like that's not what's at play here, right? One of the great cardinal virtues is justice, right? One of the four, and that's the key here is compassion for illegal immigration is misplaced compassion, right? I feel bad for anyone that's country's in a very hard spot. Like I get that a lot of these places are not good places. But that doesn't then give you the right to break the law and come here. And in the process, it's not just people looking for work, trying to get a better life for themselves, their kids. This is a loophole that then gets exploited by criminal elements, MS-13, the cartels, the whole nine yards. You get drugs, prostitution, human trafficking, real things that are very bad. But to overlook that and not provide justice for the victims of the crimes, but also, working Americans. They're getting hurt by this system because they now have to compete for lower wages, driving down their standard of living. Resources don't go as far because you have just more people using them. And this misplaced compassion falls outside of that virtue of justice, right? Like that is a big part of the problem here. And it's unfortunate to see so many people calling out like this boogeyman of Christian nationalism. They really aren't applying the teachings of Christ. Well, no, look again at one of the things we are required to do as Catholics, as Christians, is to uphold the virtue of justice. And when you misplace compassion, you're effectively watering down justice. You're watering down the notion of genuine compassion, and that is the real danger there.
Absolutely.
So that's just a quick recap of this week. We would have loved to have talked a little bit more about these issues, but we've got a lot going on here. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check us out on social media. You can find all the details on our website, CatholicLeague.org. Thanks, Nick.
And thanks, Mike.